tap in with y'all, do a quick review of the Kendrick Lamar's halftime Super Bowl. This the set list right here. This came out originally due to a leak that was associated with the performance. That then, of course, from what I've been reading, getting information to DJ Academics, and this list came out. I seen Joe Budden them podcast tour department, all this. Not this one as we did, but this is what the show lineup was, and I'm here to talk about it. So let's tap right into it. So they started with Bodies, which is a sample of a song, a small portion of a song that Kendrick put out only via Instagram around the time back in was it November when Gen X came out. And the song has yet to come out in full, but of course, like I said, Kendrick is preparing for a tour that's coming up with Mrs. SZA. Him and SZA did this together, so there's this big misconception that I think that people think that the Super Bowl is supposed to be like a legacy night, go through all the hits or whatever, and it's literally not in a outline to be that at all. I think pretty sure when Michael Jackson did it, he came out and he did it ain't do a much from me to damn, like he started with that. That was recent MJ at that time. He didn't come out singing you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it doesn't necessarily have to be legacy night. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of my top things. The second song that he let me go back to my list here. I don't believe that I can play too much of the performance, but of course anybody that saw it know that Samuel L. Jackson was going through these skits throughout the entire show. The board was the stage was set up as if it was people were saying like a PlayStation, but it's further detail are saying like Squid Game. You know what I'm saying? That's how the Squid Game was set up. So anybody that saw that, and now so he did Squabble Up, which was a number one record when the album came out. That's what everybody was saying. He did songs that people didn't know. Were like, well, sorry you don't know the new number ones. You know what I'm saying? Like this number one song just 2 months ago when the album came out. So when he went out there and he did, let me see if I can get it to go without the. There, okay. So then he does Squabble Up. And Squabble Up, the original beat, this is not my favorite version of the song. You know what I'm saying? This ain't my favorite version of the song. The favorite version of this song that I have was with my guy right here. Let me see if I can get a little bit of this playing. This is my favorite version of it with the different beat, Black Mass.
Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on.
Let me see if I can get it to play.
Oh, I need her, my babies.
Woke up looking for the broccoli. I keep a horn on me.
See, that's the that's the beat that I like with that song. So I wasn't the biggest fan of the actual beat that goes with the song. So to take my critique there when it comes to just that song in general. So then he goes into Humble, DNA, number one. These are hits for Kendrick. So it's like here we are continuing in a hit formula. They're not the people. I think when we think about when Kendrick performed, you think that he was going to do like All Right and Money Trees and things like that. But those like tour because you can go and see him on tour and hear songs like that. Like I got a whole brand new like I say, let me see how set list. And also y'all have to remember that Kendrick was a part of this Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg Super Bowl when they brought a collaboration of people there, and Kendrick did Mad City and All Right there. So I wouldn't expect him to perform those songs at the Super Bowl 2 years later. I just did those songs at the Super Bowl. That's to put away anybody who asked where was All Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, where was All Right and what was Mad City, because those are some of the man down. Where you from? Everybody knows those, but I think that's the reason. If you're just asking me, I did those songs 2 years ago. Why am I going to turn around and do those songs again? And then of course Euphoria. People hating on them doing Euphoria, but look, Euphoria reached number one on this U.S. Spotify, Apple Music, Global charts. Debuted at number 11 on the Billboard 100 and peaked at number 3 the following week. So why would I not do Euphoria that just came out that I did last year? That was a pretty high charting song for me. Yes, it was in the midst of a hip hop battle, but it was still something that I did. And shout out to anybody that saw like the interviews or whatever that were done when he initially announced, when they said they was going to do some interviews. Shout out to the Deska and Ebro who were able to get that interview because that had to be contractual. But at the end of the day, they got that goddamn interview. So shout out to them. So then, Man of the Garden, when he did his interview with the dude from Dun, the star from Dun, Timothy, I forget his last name. He spoke about how Man in the Garden, he meant every single word. He meant every single word that he said in that song. So it didn't surprise me at all. So this is who he did an interview with as well. I can't pronounce his last name, but I want to say Timothy. He did an interview with Timothy, and he was telling him, "Yo, this let me see if it's in his news. It should be in his news. All right, they rapped together. They were rolling together, and that's what he told him. I mean, every single word of Man in the Garden. So I'm glad that he did Man in the Garden, and I like the version that he did of it too, because here he is using great breath control. It ain't. Let me see. Y'all can't mess with the breath control. I don't know how many rappers can really go up and get me do this type of breath.
Okay with me. Burn this thing down. Don't you play with me. Stay with me. Crashing out right now. Hitting safe for me. Did it with integrity.
But this is a different observation of a song.
More blood be spilling. This is pain to me. Dangerously. Ain't no changing me. Ain't no shaming.
Cool. Let me see. Let me get my sound back. Yeah, because I heard a lot of people say they didn't like the set. I guess they were looking for more of a legacy lineup or what it came to. Or I think that people more so expected him to use soundtrack like tracks behind it, like more not him actually rapping the songs. And I think that, of course, doesn't give. I don't know if that gives the 100% best sound sound to people the way that sounds when you're watching it on TV versus when you're at a concert. When you're at a concert, you're already listening to somebody doing that stuff live, and you're like, all right, you're expecting that. This is what I think one of the big things are. And then when you're actually watching something on TV of somebody doing something live, and it's like, man, I want to hear like the goddamn CD sound. And I think that was one of the things. It don't sound, all that. But unless you want to be like Mariah or something like that, using all these tracks or what it seemed like SZA was up there doing. Maybe she was singing something, but it didn't 100% sound like it. Maybe I wanted more of that, but he actually was using his voice, so I think that was a conflict with people too. Like, why it sound like that? Like, yeah, that ain't for everybody when you rapping like that straight up and not using no tracks behind it. Then from Peekaboo, that's from the new album. That was a pretty popular song off the project. Luther Vandross just had look at Samuel Jackson. Luther Vandross just had a documentary came out. Then they sampled Luther Vandross on that song right there. So that was another current, you know what I'm saying? Like I think trending thing. All the stars from the Black Panther soundtrack when they came out with the Black Panther soundtrack. TDE did that, headed by Kendrick. If anybody heard that Black Panther soundtrack, All the Stars was a song that was a top song on there. That him and SZA shot a video for that song. So I want to make sure that we put in context that was a pretty high charting song for them too, and it got SZA on it. I guess people thought that SZA was going to do more of her own songs. I know that got people probably mad too, but she was a special guest, so SZA will get her own. Let me get that out of the way. SZA will get her own Super Bowl one day as long as she keep at it. That's just how things naturally go. Then there was a lot of teasing throughout he teased earlier in the project about Not Like Us coming, and a lot of people upset. Like, he shouldn't have did he shouldn't have did it. It was made to show too much about Drake. But at the end of the day, man, like I said, the Euphoria, that was something related to Drake. That was way back earlier in the show. All of these songs that when it came after that was just regular Kendrick songs. So then you got the Not Like Us came on, and let me see if I can play this up there.
It's a cultural divide. I'm going to get it on the flow. You really about to do it? 40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music. You really about to do it? Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like go. Mustard on a beat, bro. Deep boat, any rap. He a freak though, man down.
And the matter of let me see, and also editing your songs as you rap too. That was on thing one too. There was no track, so it's a deep boat, any rap. Hey, he a freak though. Like all of that is like live and the thing. That was live too. And then of course he ends it all. Gave DJ Mustard a big look because here comes DJ Mustard running out there in the middle of the full crew. But that was a lot of people out there that got employed to do this show. That was a part of that show. Part of this show, they made the American flag. At one point, if I can go back through here, at some point they made the American flag, they made the American flag. Like this is, I think, when we look back, because this was the only Super Bowl that a president has attended, and turns out that president was Donald Trump. So when we look back years and years and years and years from now, they'll be like, well, Donald Trump was the first president to attend a Super Bowl. Who performed at that Super Bowl? Kendrick performed at that Super Bowl. So you've been etched in history just in that way as well. So let me know what y'all thought were on the halftime show. I know a lot of people didn't. Like the halftime show, but that's nothing that anybody's surprised of. You know what I'm saying? Like when Beyonce did it. Can I get a refund? Beyonce's NFL halftime show leaves fans furious. People were mad then. Then turned around. I think who had it? I think it was 2020 or 2021. The weekend. The weekend did the Super Bowl. If anybody remembers that, and I don't know why it's showing like this, but it says Super Bowl review. The weekend wasn't great, but it's not his fault. So every year that somebody does it, when Rihanna did it, she ain't moving around enough. She ain't dancing enough. And of course, she ended up. She was pregnant. She was pregnant doing that performance. But that's just to show that there's never going to be a show that anybody's completely satisfied with. And Kendrick, before Drake's "Is All a Blur" tour, that Travis Scott, that Circus Maximus, I believe Drake even outdid what Travis Scott did. Kendrick had the Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, which was maybe 3-4 years ago. That tour with the highest grossing tour up until that point. So it's not. I hate when it's like. So I hate when it's like, why did Kendrick end up getting Super Bowl and not any of these other people? Like, well, look at the things that Kendrick had been doing leading up to this point. Of course, that just was going to happen. Yeah, the year that he had last year added to them made the choice a lot easier. I'm pretty sure between that and Lil Wayne's and all the other names that people threw out there as if just because it's in your city, the artist from that city has to perform. Nobody ever said that, you know what I'm saying? But let me know what y'all thoughts on this. I don't want to take up too much time here, but I did want to stamp myself in history when it came to a review on the Kendrick Lamar halftime show performance. Let me know what y'all thoughts on it. It's the N.y.a show, and I appreciate y'all continued support as usual.